Welcome back. So in this video, we'll see how do we use a subtotal function. Well, I don't know why this is not very widely used function in the job life, but guys, this is something very beneficial and you will see your life becoming very easy if you use this subtotal function. So what is subtotal function? Let's see. Suppose you have this data in front of you, and before I perform any operation on this data, let me just add 3-4 lines above it. How do I add a row? Alt IR. And then if I want to add 4 rows, I simply add one row Alt IR, and then instead of applying again Alt IR, Alt IR, Alt IR, what I can do is I can simply press F4. F4 will keep repeating the last action, right? So I can add the desired rows. Let's say I apply a total here. I apply a sum of this entire range for all. Now we have done this thing before. How do I change the width? I select I select all the cells and press Alt OC A. This will automatically adjust to the width, right? So let's bold this thing and let's make it in 2 decimal format. Or let's just move the decimals. 1, 2, Alt OC. Yeah, that's better. Okay, now try applying the filters. I select this data and I apply a filter here. Please observe what happens to the totals, guys. I want to see the total only for north region. So I filter this data to select only the north, right? We know how to do that. I'm filtering this data to select only the north. And if I want to look at the sum, this is not changing. It still shows the entire sum of the entire data, right? But that doesn't solve my purpose. Why? Because I needed the sum of only the north region. So if I want to filter this data, I will have to manually select this and see the sum becomes 5834 instead of 17,000. It's only 5800 approx, right? But that's not getting displayed here. So every time I try and filter this data according to my criteria, I will have to manually check the sum. Life becomes very tedious. Yes. What if we can have a subtotal formula which keeps on changing as I apply the filters? Life will become easy. I'm sure it does. Okay, so let's learn how to do that. Removing the filters and applying a subtotal function equals subtotal. As soon as you open the syntax, it will ask you the function number. So it says, okay, you are applying the subtotal, but you want to see which function. I need to find out the sum. So sum is at 9th position. So I apply a 9 here, comma, and I'll select the range. It gives me the sum 17069. So if I want to copy the formatting, how do I do that? I simply press Ctrl C, select the range and Alt ES and T for formatting. Alright, now please observe what happens as soon as we filter the data. So I am applying filters to my data and let's select North. Box. Just observe what happens. The total is still the same, but now the subtotal is changing as per my filters. So 5834, I have a subtotal 5834. If I want to look at east instead of north, the subtotals change. If I want to look at east and north together, again, the subtotals change. So that is the application of subtotal function in our lives, and you can understand how much easier life becomes if we use a subtotal function. It will simply tell us as soon as I keep changing the filters, the values will change and I can directly get an idea of the number instead of going manually and selecting the range and then finding out the sum or average or count or whatever it is. I hope you've understood subtotal, guys. See you around in the next video.